going out every day, you're getting in a gunfight outside of your fob, then you come home, and then you got to deal with the base getting hit. How many engagements would you say you were a part of in that 8 months? Do you have any idea?
I lost count. It was that many.
Just to put that in perspective for you, because most guys don't think about this, that's 180 fucking engagements.
Our very first op, the helo crashed.
Oh shit.
Killed everybody. One guy survived.
I want to take a call. I have your dad on the line, Jim. Hey Jim, how's it going? This is Shawn Ryan.
I was just always curious how he really felt when he actually landed in Afghanistan with his team for that first deployment.
I kind of just in the back of my mind hoped that you understood, or at least somewhat understood, what I was actually going to do.
Yeah, it was definitely an emotional day for me. I still remember that call clearly. I didn't want to let on to him how emotional it was.
Fucking every night, right when sundown, these dudes would just smash us with small arms, and it would be effective.
A lot of times when you lose guys in a combat zone and you know them, it'll create a type of ritual.
Did I do anything?
I'm gonna take another call. We got a mutual friend on the line who was there that whole second deployment with you, Jeff Reed.
Dude, I am doing great. How are you doing?
And there's a picture of you and Jeff and another guy's face that's blurred out.
Do you remember shooting the goose nuts off on that mount up at the mountain?
Hell yeah, I do.
Welcome back to the Shawn Ryan Show. I hope everybody had a good Christmas, good holiday, a good New Year. We released our first episode on midnight on Christmas Eve out of 800,000 podcasts and an estimated 30 million episodes. We ranked number 73 on the top charts overall right off the bat. Thanks to you guys for heading over to iTunes, listening, subscribing, and most importantly, leaving us a review. If you get a chance and you haven't done it yet, please go over to iTunes, leave us a review, even if it's only one word. That's all I'm asking for doing these. With that being said, I'm ready to kick off episode 002. We have a 13-year combat veteran, Navy SEAL with multiple combat deployments. He was a BUDS instructor. This one really strums the heartstrings. We get deep. It gets emotional. Guys, this is better than entertainment. This is the real thing. Please welcome Mr. Travis Kennedy. All right, Travis, I've been dying to meet you. You're finally here in Tennessee. We're in my studio. I can't fucking wait to get started. Jeff Reed introduced us, a couple months back over the phone. And anybody that's a friend of that guy is a friend of mine. And I just want to say it's a real pleasure to finally meet you and to have you on the show.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, for sure. True pleasure to even be sitting right here and spending the weekend with you. So
yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. I want to dive right in here, and I'm going to give you a tough question. Right now, the hot topic on the news is Iran. We just killed Soleimani, and without going too far in depth into your background yet, you're a team guy, you're a SEAL, you're an operator, you've been on multiple bases, maybe embassies, FOBs, but you've been on government facilities in combat zones that have been hit numerous times. I want to hear your take on our president's decision to fire up that drone strike and take out Soleimani.
Yeah, that's been definitely a controversial topic, at least from what I've seen lately. However, my opinion is that these decisions aren't made rationally. They're not made hasty. They're very strategic and thought out, especially with a guy like Soleimani. this is someone that's been on our list for a very long time. So the president had to make a difficult decision, but a decision that, in my opinion, needed to be done. And at the end of the day, we're getting rid of a terrorist that has been responsible for close to thousands of deaths, Iraqis and American lives. So we're doing the world a favor by getting rid of this guy. Yeah, there's always risk on the table, and these decisions are made every single day. Some don't even come to the spotlight, but all these risks are weighed. They're not just made blindly. So
yeah. I mean, as a guy that's 13-year Navy SEAL, multiple combat deployments, well over 100 engagements, fighting off terrorists that are trying to kill you. I mean, what is it like to hear people say that they're upset that we killed a guy who's responsible for thousands of U.S. lives, and and they don't support it. They don't think that we should have retaliated. And me personally, I had friends that died in Benghazi, and we saw what the fuck happened when we don't do anything, when we don't send help, and when we don't, stand up for our guys that are over there fighting for the fucking freedom that these Americans have at home.
Yeah, it's really, honestly, it's truly mind-blowing. I try to ignore stuff like that, all these people online, but it's hard to miss, especially with this. It's the reaction of people getting mad because he may stoke another war or another conflict with Iran. We've already been in conflict with Iran for a very long time. We'll still continue to be. We have no good relations with them. They're not a friendly country whatsoever. But just one incident, because it's been blowing up so much, and most likely because he's such a high-level guy, that people want to go high and right, knee-jerk reaction, and think, this was so horrible that he was going to cause a war possibly. But I think people just need to understand and educate themselves on why these decisions are made, because decisions like these are made all the time.
Yeah.
And people don't know about it.
Yeah.
But I hate seeing online. I hate seeing people go in uproar over stuff like this.
Yeah. I think, it seems like, you'd never hear anybody who actually did anything for the country speaking out against things like this. It's always the people that are sitting on their fucking ass back in the rear, enjoying the freedom that we fucking give them. And, maybe those people should just shut the fuck up and enjoy what they have.
Exactly.
But, all right, enough about politics. I hate them. I get pissed every time I talk about them. But I want to dive right into your childhood and, kind of where you grew up and how you grew up and eventually what led you to become one of the world's most elite operators as a Navy SEAL. So, where did you grow up?
So growing up, Southern California, grew up in a city called Huntington Beach. It's a beach town. Living in California, I was just a punk kid growing up, a skateboarder, just doing shenanigans at a younger age, bouncing back and forth between mom and dad. They were divorced, typical kind of broken home, sharing time.
When did they get divorced?
I don't even remember. I was an infant. I was so young, I can't even remember when they were divorced. I can't remember when they were married. It was that long ago.
Okay, so you never
I've never
together.
even experienced living, at least from what I did, but at one point when I was a baby, but even remembering living with them in the same household, married. So I grew up like that. That was a normal for me. But so going back and forth between mom and dad growing up was normal. It was a pain in the ass. I actually liked spending more time with my mom than I did my dad when I was younger.
Really?
And I have no idea why. Even looking back, I was just, I like to call myself an idiot, because now me and my dad are like, mom and dad are super close, but me and my dad are super tight. But I think it was because at the time, my mom was dating someone who had a son. He was a little bit older than me, and we were like brothers.
Okay.
Did everything together, always hung out, we were skateboarding, always fucking off. So naturally I was inclined just to wanting to be there all the time. So never wanted to go to my dad's. I did, but not often without bitching.
That's surprising to me because I've researching you on social media and listening to your previous podcasts. I can tell that you and your father are extremely tight. My question is, if you were so tight with your mom, what is the thing that kind of drew you closer to your father?
As I got older?
Yeah.
I think as I matured more, I just kind of realized that he was my father, as a father figure, and I just wanted to be around him more. As I probably around 13, 14, I wanted to spend more time with him, and we became closer because my mom was just dating this guy. They ended up separating, so that his son, we all parted ways. So that kind of got broken up. So then I was kind of left without him, and then I just kind of leaned towards, kind of naturally just went towards my dad.
Okay.
And we became a lot tighter. I spent a lot more time with him, especially once I hit middle school, and then going into high school. But still the same thing, still sharing time throughout that whole process.
What were you like as a kid? Were you like a nerd? Were you studying, making good grades, or were you a hellion out terrorizing the town?
Growing up, I was like a punk kid, younger, like middle school. Just a punk skateboarder, just doing shenanigans, fucking around. I was a mediocre student in elementary, middle school, junior high. Probably just mediocre. I didn't really try that hard in school. I was more focused on, especially when I was younger, just fucking off. And then towards the end of, I would say middle school, going to high school, and then I started tightening up. I was never really a overachiever in school as far as grades are concerned. But I got into sports, and that kind of changed my mentality. It wasn't really until I got into high school and started playing like lacrosse and a couple other sports that I really started maturing.
Okay.
Kind of seeing what the next move was in life.
I heard on some of your other podcasts as well, they assumed that you were from a great family, it sounded like. And I think I heard one say, a lot of guys that go into special operations or even the military are from broken families. And you didn't say a fucking word. They just breezed right over it. And my wife actually picked up on that first. And so you're not from a picture-perfect family in Huntington Beach, California, like
Absolutely.
Everybody thinks. You had some shit.
Yeah, most people think, and it's fine that people from SoCal, or especially those beach cities, because they are wealthy cities, born with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Yeah.
Got everything I had, perfect family, everything, all our shit together. Far from it. We were good, but definitely not normal family. Broken home. But that was normal for me, so I was used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if it happened later in life, it probably would have had more of a profound effect on me. But being that it was, and I was such at a young age, not even realizing, that was just normal. I mean, I was just so used to it. It didn't really have really too much of a negative effect on me, my parents being separated. But yeah, definitely, we were just lower middle class family, and just struggles. My dad was struggling, starting his own business, poor but still providing. My mom, same thing. So definitely not the typical what you think of Southern California. That's for sure.
At what point did you start to realize you wanted to become a Navy SEAL or join the military? How old were you?
I was about 16, 15 going on 16. I knew I wanted to be in the military. Because in the beginning, when I started weighing all these options, I knew I wanted to be